Shalom, shalom. My name is YAH. I'm with Savior Word of YAH, Tabernacles of the Congregation of Yisrael. This is our weekly Bible study. And the title of our Bible study today is Rejection of the Light. Rejection of the light. And what we're seeing right now is we're seeing a clear separation going on in the earth right now. Those that are moving towards righteousness, moving towards the Most High, and those that are moving towards the world. And what these situations and circumstances are doing in the earth right now is it's manifesting what manner of spirit that we're entertaining, what manner of spirit as a people are we holding on to. And there's being a clear separation between the spiritual and the carnal going on in the earth right now. And what you're seeing is you're seeing a great awakening. And in this great awakening, people are going to have to make decisions. It's not coincidental that we're starting to see, as the children of Israel, we're starting to see popular people that are in the popular class, that are mainstream. We're starting to see them starting to open their eyes. And it's not just Israelites. You got Gentiles. Like you even got for example, Alex Jones from InfoWars. Even he's acknowledging it. He knows. So he's a fact finder. So he definitely knows the truth. But what we're seeing a lot of now that this truth is being exposed, we're seeing a lot of people rejecting the light. Now that it's starting to become public knowledge and common knowledge, who we are as a people, and the evidence is there. We have the brothers have done so much work on the street corners. They've done so much work on the internet and social media and in families and word of mouth that it's common knowledge now who we are. But you still have people rejecting it. And it's not necessarily that they're rejecting the fact that they're royal, but they're rejecting the fact that they're going to have to carry themselves like royalty. So pay attention. The scripts say that hurt not the earth until the servants are sealed, and that the word must be published to the four corners of the earth, and then the end would come. So what faster way to publish this word than to activate our leaders and activate our so-called stars, the people that are in the light. They're being activated. And with that activation, we're seeing a lot of sides being chose. So we're going to take a look at that. We're going to understand, what this light is, who this light is, where it's been in the, where it came from, and that it's been here since the very beginning. And that light is to help manifest and show not only what's around you, but also to light up what's in you so that you can determine what is in you and make whatever changes. So we're going to get into that. We're going to first open up in the book of John, John chapter 1, and we're going to start that at verse 1. And for any new viewers, this is an open forum. So if you have any questions, comments, or even if you disagree, by all means, as long as we're respectful, you will have an opportunity to speak. All right, so we're in the book of John, chapter 1, and we're going to start this at verse 1. Now, keep in mind, for those of us that have, read this Bible thoroughly and understand, Genesis chapter 1 breaks down that two different lights was created. You had the light that was created in the beginning, Bereshit, in the beginnings, that light. And then you have the great light and the lesser light to rule the day and rule the night. And that was created on the fourth day. So we're going to see what and who this light was in the beginning, before the sun and moon and stars were created. So John chapter 1, and we're going to read verses 1 through 14. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with Elohim, and the Word was Elohim. The same was in the beginning with Allah. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. So this light that we're talking about here in the beginning, this is the light, which is the life of man. So when we extinguish that light, we move towards darkness. It's almost like when you see somebody pass away. If you ever watched that, you can literally see like the light coming out of a person. This is like, when your lights go out, it's like a euphemism for being knocked out. So this light is the life of man. So you have to use this light accordingly because this is your light. Verse 5, and the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness comprehends it not. So the darkness cannot understand the light. So if you are in darkness, you can't understand this light when it's coming to you. And when you're in the dark and somebody cuts on the light, what's the first thing you do? You squint your eyes. It's literally a painful process where you have to adjust your eyes to deal with the light. Or you could just choose to keep your eyes closed and not adjust. The choice is yours. Verse 6, there was a man sent from Elohim whose name was Yohanan. The same came for a witness to bear witness of the light, that all men through him might believe. Now, he was not that light, but was sent to bear witness of that light. That was the true light, which lights up every man that comes into the world. So this life, this light is available to every man on this earth, even to a blind person. This light is available because we're not talking about the physical light that was created on the fourth day. No, we're talking about this spiritual light that lights up, that is literally so bright that it can cause a man's face to shine when he takes in that light. That's what happened to Moshe. Verse 10, he was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not. He came unto his own, and his own received him not. But as many received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of YAH, even to them that believe on his name. So this light, which is our life, once you take that light is eternal. That's why those that are not written in the book of life are those that do not have the light. So when darkness is put away, those without the light are going to be put away with that darkness. Verse 14, and the word was made flesh. So this light, or the word, was literally made into flesh and dwelt among us. And we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. So this light was Hamashiach. This light was here in the beginning that created everything. It's the light that gives us life and the power to make and to create. So rejecting this light, or rejecting Mashiach, or rejecting this word, is literally rejecting your life. Because this light and this life was the light that lighted up every man that came into this world. So we want to consider that. We definitely want to consider that when we are rejecting this word or rejecting the Son. All right. So how do we reject the Son? Well, when the Son, who is supposed to be the master, says this is how the children of the light operate, and we operate like the children of the darkness, then we have rejected that light. We have chose that light or despised that light. The word despised is used in the word when you do not give the proper value to something that is very valuable. All right, so let's take a look more at this light and what this light does internally for us. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 20, Mishle chapter 20. Proverbs chapter 20. And we're going to start this at verse 1. Wine is a mocker. Strong drink is raging. And whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise. So many times, somebody will start to drink or we'll go under the drink, and the wise will understand how to avoid certain situations, avoid certain places, and avoid certain arguments, especially when wine and strong drink is involved, whether the other individual or yourself. Wisdom will tell you that this inhibits your inhibitions. It holds back your inhibitions. So a wise person will either moderately deal with it or remove himself from certain situations. Verse 2, the fear of a king is as the roaring of a lion. Whoso provokes him to anger sins against his own soul. It is honor for a man to cease from strife, but every fool will be meddling. So a lot of times when you see strife coming your way, you have the light. You can see clearly what's going on. But unfortunately, if you start to dim your light and stand in the dark, you are not going to see. You are going to be as a fool, operating the same way that another individual is when they're operating in strife. Verse 4, the sluggard will not plow by reason of the cold. Therefore shall he beg in harvest and have nothing. Counsel in the heart of man is like deep water, but a man of understanding will draw it out. Most men will proclaim everyone his own goodness, but a faithful man who can find? The just man walks in his integrity. His children are blessed after him. A king that sits in the throne of judgment scatters away all evil with his eyes. Who can say, I have made my heart clean. I am pure from my sin. Now, again, how can we make our heart clean when it says that the heart is exceedingly deep? Who could know it? It's exceedingly wicked. Who could know it? You don't even fully understand the depths of darkness in your heart or in your mind. So that's why we have to humble ourselves and not act like we just pure from sin. That way we can be humble enough to look out for the things that are causing us to fall. Verse 10, diverse weights and diverse measures, both of them are alike abomination to Yahweh. Even a child is known by his doings, whether his work be pure and whether it be right. The hearing ear and the seeing eye, Yahweh has made even both of them. Love not sleep, lest you come to poverty. Open your eyes, and you shall be satisfied with bread. It is nothing, says the buyer. But when he is gone his way, then he boasts. There is gold and a multitude of rubies, but the lips of knowledge are a precious jewel, because the lips of knowledge is spreading the light. It's talking to you in a term of life. It's trying to help you receive life. Versus all this gold and rubies and all that stuff looks nice. But at the end of the day, you're not going to use a diamond or a piece of gold to get into the kingdom. You know, the Mizrahites or the Egyptians, they had a belief, I think through their pagan god, the god with a little dog head, I believe it's Horus, that is over the underworld, that you had to pay your way into the kingdom. You had to literally bring gold and silver and jewels. And this is why they would bury their dead with their pharaohs with all the goods and expensive things, because they felt like they had to pay their way in the kingdom. But at the end of the day, that's not going to get you in. Only light is going to get you in. Righteousness, life, the Ruach, and Yah's mercy. That's it. You can't pay for that. Verse 16. Take his garment that is surety for a stranger, and take a pledge of him for a strange woman. Bread of deceit is sweet to a man, but afterwards his mouth shall be full with gravel. Every purpose is established by counsel, and with good advice make war. He that goes about as a talebearer reveals secrets. Therefore, meddle not with him that flatters with his lips. Whoso curses his father or his mother, his lamp shall be put out in obscure darkness. So again, when you operate against Yah's commandments, this dims your light. And as your light starts to get a little bit dimmer, you start to lose your ability to see the narrow path. You start to lose your ability to manifest what's in the dark. So eventually, you're adding sin unto sin until you're in obscure darkness. And now it's just a matter of time, because the adversary got traps everywhere for us. Verse 21. An inheritance may be gotten hastily at the beginning, but the end thereof shall not be blessed. Say not you, I will recompense evil, but wait on Yah, and he shall save you. Diverse weights are abomination unto Yahweh, and a false balance is not good. Man's goings are of Yahweh. How can a man then understand his own way? It is a snare to the man who devours that which is holy, and after vows to make inquiry. A wise king scatters the wicked and brings the wheel over them. The spirit of a man is the candle of Yah, searching all the inward parts of the belly. So the spirit of man is this light that's supposed to light up the inside of you. So when you are studying this word, or being counseled with this word, or the Holy Spirit is giving you this word, it's to show you the darkness that's in. It's supposed to manifest those things in your thoughts that are going to lead to your death. But if you are constantly running from the light, how are you going to deal with the candle that's inside of you? That's supposed to manifest the things inside of you. Once that dims, how are you going to help another individual? Verse 28. Mercy and truth preserve the king, and his throne is upholden by mercy. The glory of young men is their strength, and the beauty of old men is the gray head. The blueness of a wound cleanses away evil, so do stripes the inward parts of the belly. All right, so we're going to move on. We're going to go to Job chapter 24. So we understand that this light and the spirit that is in us is used to help manifest what's in us. So now when we expose people to that light, it's going to expose where they stand, whether or not they're trying to run from the light or whether they're trying to come to the light. And you want to see how people deal with the light? All you got to do is just speak the word, have a Bible study, do something, and see who is gravitating towards the light and who's going away from the light. And there you got it. You can see how people are dealing with the light. So at the end of the day, you are dimming your light when you don't spread this word. But when you spread this word, you're allowing the light to help manifest. All right, so we're going to go to Job. Job chapter 24. Job chapter 24, and we're going to start this at verse 1. Why, seeing times are not hidden from the Almighty, do they that know him not see his days? Some remove the landmarks, they violently take away flocks, and feed thereof. They drive away the donkey of the fatherless. They take the widow's ox for a pledge. They turn the needy out of the way. The poor of the earth hide themselves together. Behold, as wild donkeys in the desert, go they forth to their work, rising betimes for a prey. The wilderness yields food for them and for their children. They reap everyone his corn in the field, and they gather the vintage of the wicked. They cause the naked to lodge without clothing, that they have no covering in the cold. They are wet with showers of the mountains and embrace the rock for want of a shelter. They pluck the fatherless from the breast and take a pledge of the poor. They cause them to go naked without clothing, and they take away the sheaf from the hungry, which make oil within their walls and tread their wine presses and suffer thirst. Men groan from out of the city, and the soul of the wounded cries out. Yet YAH lays not folly to them. They are those that rebel against the light. They know not the ways thereof, nor abide in the paths thereof. So this light is supposed to help show you your path. It's supposed to show you how you're walking, show you your deeds. But when you're rejecting that light and moving away from that light, once again, it's just a matter of time before your flesh does what it's designed to do, which is to literally take care of itself. Verse 14, the murderer rising with the light kills the poor and the needy, and in the night is as a thief. The eye also of the adulterer waits for the twilight, saying, no eye shall see me, and disguises his face. In the dark, they dig through houses which they had marked for themselves in the daytime. They know not the light. So people will use the light in order to set themselves up for the wicked deeds. So just because somebody presents themselves as a minister of light, we got to keep in mind, even the adversary, the devil, can transform himself to a minister of light. So again, what good is the truth or the Holy Spirit if you're going to blaspheme it? So if you're going to use this truth in order to set yourself up so that when it's a suitable time to do wickedness, you misusing the light. And now that seems easy in this discussion, but what about when you're using this word to beat people down because you know better? You're using this light and you're searching for somebody in darkness, not to help them, not to counsel or admonish them, but to boost your spiritual self-esteem, to beat down on somebody. And that's what we have a lot of people do in this word, because that word is powerful. That light is powerful. And you have a lot of people that have been these poor that we've been talking about in this verse, that have been mistreated. And now they get a little bit of something that gives them a little advantage. They're ready to continue that same hazing process. Verse 17, for the morning is to them even as the shadow of death. If one know them, they are in the terrors of the shadow of death. He is swift as the waters. Their portion is cursed in the earth. He beholds not the way of the vineyards. Drought and heat consume the snow waters. So does the grave those which have sinned. The womb shall forget him. The worm shall feed sweetly on him. He shall be no more remembered, and wickedness shall be broken as a tree. He evil entreats the barren that the beareth not, and does not good to the widow. He draws also the mighty with his power. He rises up, and no man is sure of his life. Though it be given to him safety, wherein he rests, yet his eyes are upon their ways. They are exalted for a little while, but are gone and brought low. They are taken out of the way as all other, and cut off as the tops of the ears of corn. And if it be not so now, who will make me a liar and make my speech nothing worth? So at the end of the day, although it seems like these people that are are operating in darkness and teaming with those that are in the darkness, then it seems like they're getting ahead. But it says the meek shall inherit the earth. If you continue to work on your deeds and stay in the body of Mashiach, you'll live long enough to start to see them same individuals that you thought it was so cool for them to hang out in the dark and to do the deeds of the dark. You'll see the end of those things. Let's go to Psalms 31. Psalms 31. Because again, it's the light that manifests what's in the darkness. And that's why they make statements like these deep, dark sayings. Well, it's only deep and dark to an individual who don't got no light or is not standing in the light. But to those that have the light and are using the light to manifest the narrow path and manifest the way, then it's not deep and dark. They can see a clear path. So we're going to Psalms, Tehillim, chapter 31. And it's purposely given to us in this fashion where, you believe that this light is going to be some light, like when you go in a room and you cut on the light, you just see the light. That's obvious. Well, this is a spiritual light. How are you going to gain from? You can't just cut a switch on and off. You have to gather this light. You have to seek this light. And furthermore, you have to know how to identify the light. Because once again, when you're in a dark room and you cut the light on, again, that light will hurt your eyes. So if you're going to use pain to determine it, or whether it feels good, that ain't going to necessarily be the answer. You have to study his word. You got to study his son. You got to study his servants that Yah has given his word to, so that you can better understand this light. Because, you best believe these lights here are being cut off. And we're not talking about just the power lights, but also this spiritual famine that's coming when they cut this internet, when they cut these TVs, when they got it where you can't go from one city to the next. Where your light gonna come from? When they killing folks for a Bible, when it becomes hate speech, where your light gonna come from? And Shabbat Shalom, or Shalom, brother Yafi Yahweh. Good to see you, brother. All right, so we're at Tehillim, Psalms, chapter 31 and verse 1. In you, O Yahweh, do I put my trust. Let me never be ashamed. Deliver me in your righteousness. Bow down your ear to me. Deliver me speedily. Be you my strong rock, for a house of defense to save me. For you are my rock and my fortress. Therefore, for your name's sake, lead me and guide me. Pull me out of the net that they have laid privily for me, for you are my strength. Into your hand I commit my spirit. You has redeemed me, O Yahweh Elohim, with truth. I have hated them that regard lying vanities, but I trust in Yahweh. I will be glad and rejoice in your mercy, for you have considered my trouble. You has known my soul in adversities, and has not shut me up into the hand of the enemy. You have set my feet in a large room. Have mercy upon me, O Yahweh, for I am in trouble. My eye is consumed with grief, yea, my soul in my belly. For my life is spent with grief, and my years with sighing. My strength fails because of my iniquity, and my bones are consumed. So even in his iniquity, he has enough light to see where his problems is coming from. He's letting it be known, my own strength fails because of my own sinfulness, my own iniquity. But if you're in the darkness, you're going to continue blaming everybody else but yourself. It's going to be everybody else's fault. Or you're going to be Job. That's why you're going through what you're going through. But you don't see the righteous brother saying that. Verse 11. I was a reproach among all my enemies, but especially among my neighbors, and a fear to my acquaintance that they did see me without fled from me. I'm forgotten as a dead man out of mind. I am like a broken vessel, for I've heard the slander of many. Fear was on every side. While they took counsel together against me, they devised to take away my life. But I trusted in you, O Yahweh. I said, you are my Elohim. My times are in your hand. Deliver me from the hand of my enemies and from them that persecute me. Make your face to shine upon your servant. Save me for your mercy's sake. Let me be not ashamed, O Yahweh, for I have called upon you. Let the wicked be ashamed, and let them be silent in the grave. Let the lying lips be put to silence, which speak grievous things proudly and contemptuously against the righteous. Oh, how great is your goodness, which you has laid up for them that fear you, which you has wrought for them that trust in you before the sons of men. So how are you going to trust in Yah before the sons of men? How are you trusting in him? Well, the sons of men have their own ways of doing things. The sons of men operate like most everybody with the flesh. It's going to be what's pleasing to the flesh, what's beneficial to the flesh. Well, when you operate in the light, you is what's beneficial to Yah, because all things work for the glory of Yah. So you are using that light to manifest what is the thing that's going to glorify Yah, not the thing that's going to glorify man, whether it be another man or whether it be yourself. Verse 20, you shall hide them in the secret of your presence from the pride of men. You shall keep them secretly in a pavilion from the strife of tongues. Blessed be Yahweh, for he hath showed me his marvelous kindness in a strong city. For I have said in my haste, I am cut from before your eyes. Nevertheless, you heard the voice of my supplications when I cried unto you. Oh, love you, Yahweh, all you his saints, for Yahweh preserves the faithful and plentifully rewards the proud doer. Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart, all you that hope in Yahweh. So Yah keeps his secrets from prideful men. Let's move on. So these secrets that he's keeping from prideful men are these secrets that the light manifests. Just like there's secret gems and things hidden that you need light to determine it, to see it, to know the difference between that. Like even when you get a diamond, you put a light on it so you can see the clarity. You need the light to show you, to help manifest the imperfections. And that's what you're using that light for in a diamond, is to see the imperfections. So even in jewels, you want to look at the imperfections so that you can rate it and put it in its proper place. So let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 2. First Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 1. And I, brethren, when I came to you, came not with excellency of speech or wisdom, declaring unto you the testimony of Yah. For I determined not to know anything among you except Yahweh Shai Mashiach and him impaled. And I was with you in weakness and in fear and in much trembling. And my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom, but in demonstration of the Spirit and of power, that your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men, but in the power of Yah. Howbeit we speak wisdom among them that are perfect, yet not the wisdom of this world, nor of the princes of this world that come to naught. But we speak the wisdom of Yah in a mystery, even the hidden wisdom, which Yah ordained before the world unto glory, which none of the princes of this world knew. For had they known it, they would not have crucified the Adonai of glory. But as it is written, eye has not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which Yah has prepared for them that love him. But Yah has revealed them unto us by his Spirit. For the Spirit searches all things, yea, the deep things of Yah. But Yah has revealed them unto us by his Spirit. For the Spirit searches all things, yea, the deep things of Elohim. For what man knows the things of a man except the spirit of a man which is in him? Even so, the things of Yah know no man, but the Spirit of Yah. Now we have received not the spirit of the world, but the Spirit which is of Yah, that we might know the things are freely given to us of Yah, which things also we speak, not in the words which man's wisdom teacheth, but which the Holy Spirit teaches, comparing spiritual things with spiritual. And it's the thing. The carnal is not concerned with the spiritual things. They're not concerned with the light. They're concerned with whatever's comfortable. So they don't mind hearing the word if it's making them feel comfortable. But if it's manifesting things of the dark and they're not moving towards the light, they're going to flee. This is the very law that was created in the very beginning on the first day, that light and dark would be separated. So you can't have both. You have to make a choice to see which one you want to go to, because there's a constant separation going on. Because that universal law that was created in the first day is that light and darkness has to be separated. Verse 14. But the natural man receives not the things of the Spirit of Yah, for they are foolishness unto him. Neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. So at the end of the day, the natural man can't understand why you would dedicate time to reading this Bible, why you would study, why you would actually trust words that were written in a book thousands of years ago, because that doesn't make sense to the carnal man. He's looking at, well, how's that going to make me money? How's that going to get me a woman? How's that going to get me a man? How's that going to make me feel good? So when they start to be gravitating to the word, now they go towards the word that will make them feel good versus the word that's going to help them manifest the things in their life that they need to change, and the things that will help them help others manifest. That's the difference between the natural and the spiritual. Verse 15, but he that is spiritual judges all things, yet he himself is judged of no man. So when people tell you, oh, this ain't got nothing to do with the word ain't about everything. It ain't always about the Bible. Well, the spiritual man is judging everything based upon the word, based upon the light. If you are out in the darkness, there's nothing but darkness around you, and you've fallen in a hole in the darkness, you best believe if you got a light, you're going to make sure you cut that light on every time, because you don't want to hurt yourself. Well, it's the same thing with the spiritual person. He knows what it's like when he's left to operate according to the flesh. Verse 16, for who has known the mind of Yahweh, or the Adonai, that he may instruct him? But we have the mind of Mashiach. Let's go to Matthew chapter 13. So the Most High has this set up intentionally to keep these secrets away from people. And it's a secret to those that don't know it, but it's plain to those that went and bought the field. That's what the parable's about. When it says a man hears that there's a treasure in the field, he sells everything and go buys the field because he knows it's right there. Well, this field is this word. The treasure is right there. We just have to go for it. All right, so let's go to Matthew. Let me share these scriptures. I thought the scriptures was up. Matthew chapter 13. And we're going to read verses 10 through 17. And the disciples came and said unto him, why speak you unto them in parables? And it was funny. I had a brother tell me, and this was a teacher. Oh, I can't talk to you, Don, because every time you talk to me, you talking to me in parables. And I'm like, well, that what the book is full of parables. I'm talking to you because you're supposed to be a spiritual person. You're supposed to understand parables. But again, the carnal can only look at the carnality of something. They can't look to see, well, what is the spiritual message? So if they don't have no experience in the carnal explanation in the metaphor or in the parable, then they just can't understand it. But if you're seeking to try to understand the spiritual understanding behind it, then you might actually have a better chance of understanding the carnal, which makes you better understand the spiritual. But you're not concerned with the spiritual, then you're not going to get the message. You're going to try to grab for whatever carnal understanding you can get and say, oh, I got it, I understand, and walk away and miss the whole spiritual message. And this is how he hides his mysteries and how he hides his secrets right there in plain sight. Because at the end of the day, the carnal person ain't going to look at the spirit. He going to grieve the Holy Spirit and the spirit of wisdom and the spirit of knowledge and the spirit of understanding. So he can put it right there in front of you. Verse 12. Verse 11, he answered and said unto him, because it's given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. For whosoever has, to him shall be given, and he shall have more in abundance. But whosoever has not, from him shall be taken away even that he has. And that's why you can't depend on somebody else to be the bearer of the light, to be the person that knows it, to be the person that understands it. Because at the end of the day, if you have a little bit, that little gonna be taken away from you. And whereas the person that's seeking this light, studying the light, walking in the light, manifesting his deeds in the light, he's only going to get spiritually stronger and he's only going to gain more. Verse 13, and how are you going to see that? You're going to see it in their actions and how they carry themselves. And that's why you see all these lukewarm people in the word. You see all these people that are sometimes they are Hebrews, sometimes they not. Because the little they have is being taken away. But those with a lot, they're growing stronger. They're getting more. They're utilizing it like a muscle. Use it or lose it. Why do you think he created that muscle that way? That you can't just be a bodybuilder and be 220 pounds and then just sit down and you're going to be big and swole forever. No, you're going to lose that muscle. And it's going to be replaced with a false muscle called fat. Verse 13. Therefore speak I to them in parables, because they seeing see not, in hearing they hear not, neither do they understand. And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of YAH, which say, by hearing you shall hear and shall not understand, and seeing you shall see and shall not perceive. For these people's heart is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes that they have closed, least at any time they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears and should understand with their heart and should be converted, and I should heal them. So this is why they run away. They don't want that. They don't want to see what that light is manifesting. It's easier just to sit in the dark. That way you could just do what you want. Ain't nobody gonna reprove you in the dark because nobody else in the dark can see either. But for those of us that understand that this light is the life of man, we gonna move toward the light. That's why it says we are children of the light. Verse 16, but blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. For yes, I say unto you that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which you see and have not seen them, and to hear those things which you hear and have not heard them. Many of these prophets, many of these people we read about desired to learn and understand these things, understanding that during the time of the Bible, there was no New Testament. And many people didn't even have the word. You had to be rich to own a copy of this word. So we are blessed to have it in all of our homes, to have it in front of us, to have it in our phones, to have it in our minds, to have it in classes, to teachers, and online and social media. We have it everywhere. So we're blessed to have those things. But those that are minded things of the flesh, they're not concerned with the light. They're not concerned with the spirit, because there's physical light outside. But when that physical light goes out and the day of YAH comes and it's a day of darkness, you ain't going to be able to, it's too late now to go run and get you some oil. It's too late. And as we see in Genesis chapter 15, when it talks about the 400-year prophecy, it says, as the sun was going down. So we know when the sun is going down, it's getting darker. And then when the great tribulation comes and say, and it became dark, and it was dark. So that's what's ahead of us, darkness. So when this darkness, both physically and spiritually, through the famine of the word and the real famine comes, what light are you going to depend on? Let's go to 2 Timothy. 2 Timothy chapter 4. 2 Timothy chapter 4. Second Timothy chapter 4, and we're going to read verses 1 through 8. They shall turn their ears away from the truth. And that's what we're dealing with right now. Again, you want to see that? Start reading this word. Start talking about the word and watch and just look around and see where your audience is. 2 Timothy chapter 4, and we're going to read verses 1 through 8. I charge you, therefore, before Allahim and the Adonai Yahushai Mashiach, who shall judge the quick and the dead at his appearing and his kingdom. Preach the word. Be instant in season, out of season. Reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lusts shall they heap to themselves teachers having itchy ears. So this is what we're seeing now. They don't want to hear. They're seeking the teachers that's going to give them all the popular stuff to hear, all the controversial topics, all the things that we can sit and argue about all day long. But where are the things that are going to tell you how to save your family, how to save your brothers and sisters, how to warn people? What about those things? Verse 4, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth and shall be turned into fables. So are you telling people the truth based on your ability to have people to agree with you? Are you only willing to tell the truth when you got a big audience? Or are you willing to tell people what they want to hear in order to gain that big audience? So what is your main motivation? We got to check ourselves with those things, because we could very well be those same people turning our ears from the truth by seeking to hear the most controversial things or the most entertaining things. That's what we used to do in the Christian church. We used to go for entertainment. Verse 5, but watch you in all things, endure afflictions, do the work of an evangelist, make full proof of your ministry. For I'm now ready to be offered, and the time of my departure is at hand. I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. Henceforth, there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which is of the Adonai. The righteous judge shall give me at that day, and not to me only, but to all of them that love his appearing. All right, so we're going to go to the conclusion. We're going to go to Colossians chapter 3. Colossians chapter 3. So again, In the earth right now, there's just so much wickedness out here, man. The internet, you got to just scroll and scroll and scroll to not pay attention to all the demonic stuff. And then during this season, you have all the Christmas stuff. I mean, it's overwhelming. So these things, you think that's not going to have an effect on your brain? You think they have mastered these things over these hundreds of years that they've been doing this? This stuff affects you. It dims your light. So those of us that are in Mashiach, we got to seek the things that are above. We got to seek the things that are of light. We have to focus on those things. Why do you think they constantly putting all these things as distractions for us? All these celebrity this, celebrity that, conspiracy this, conspiracy. A lot of these things is really just to keep us focused on these carnal earthly things. But now, if you are taking those things that are happening and equating it to prophecy so that you can show people that, look, this is real. Look, this is where we at. That's a different thing. But if you're getting caught up in the entertainment aspect of it and slacking on the other side of what our job is supposed to be in the earth right now, which is to publish this word to the four corners of the earth, we fall in victim. Colossians chapter 3 and verse 1. If you be risen with Mashiach, seek those things which are above, where Mashiach sits on the right hand of Elohim. Set your affection on things above, not on things on the earth. For you are dead, and your life is hid with Mashiach and Elohim. So when it talks about setting your affection on things above, yeah, we say that. Yeah, we about the Father. We about his work. But yet we getting depressed. We getting bent out of shape. We getting hurt for things here on this earth. The common things that man and women deal with, we broken up about. Well, how can this be if you setting your affection on things above? If you got your eye on the prize, it's not going to mean that these things aren't going to affect you and hurt you. But how you even going to get to a point where you suicidal or you ready to give up? If you focused on things above, if you focus on the things above, you'd see all the blessings that the Most High has given you. He will give you the strength and the patience to endure. And that's why we have to strengthen one another, because the adversary is real good at these distractions. Verse 4. When Mashiach, who is our life, shall appear, then shall you also appear with him in glory. Mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth: fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry. So all these things here are forms of idolatry: fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry. And what is the penalty for idolatry? Your light will be put out, which is death. Verse 6, for which things' sake the wrath of YAH comes on the children of disobedience, in the which you also walked sometime when you lived in them. But now you also put off all these: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication out of your mouth. Lie not one to another, seeing that you have put off the old man with his deeds, and have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him that has created him. So putting on this new man is, once you have allowed this light to enter into you, which is the life of all men, which is Mashiach, you're in the body. Well, once it manifests everything, what are you going to do? How are your actions? Are you still acting the same way before you had the light? Then you ain't put on a new man. You're just a new man that with a lantern. These things are supposed to change your actions, your deeds, the way you think, and the way you prioritize. Verse 11. Where there's neither Greek nor Yahudim, circumcision nor uncircumcision, barbarian, Scythian, bond nor free, but Mashiach is all and in all. Put on, therefore, as the elect of Yah, holy and beloved, bowels of mercy, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, long suffering, forbearing one another, forgiving one another. If any man have a quarrel against any, even as Mashiach forgave you, so also do you. And above all things, put on love, which is the bond of perfectness. And let the peace of YAH rule in your hearts, to the which also you are called in one body. And be you thankful. Let the word of Mashiach dwell in you richly in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing with grace in your hearts to Yahweh. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Adonai Yahweh Shai, giving thanks to him and the Father, giving thanks to Yah, giving thanks to Adonai and the Father by him. So again, this light that's here in the earth right now, this light that's lighting up man as the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, the Word. If we reject that light, what is to separate us from the rest of the people in the world? What makes us spiritual versus worldly? It's this light, the presence of the light, which is knowledge of this word, and then also the understanding and wisdom, which is to actually apply that light. What good is if you have a flashlight, you got to aim it backwards and you walking in the darkness? It's not doing anything for you. So let's consider and remember that darkness is coming. This famine is coming. Famine of the food and famine of the word. And you are going to need that light to get you through, or you'll lose faith like everybody else that will be carnally hungry. So that's all we're going to do today. Again, we are Savior Word of YAH. If you have gained anything from this class and would like to support the ministry, you can always go to our website at saviorwordofyah.org. You can hit the donate button, or you can go on our YouTube page. And Yah's will, we will see you for Shabbat. Shalom.